It's Yumi time! Okay, maybe it's not, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, guys. I get excited whenever I see the Japanese. We're in a potential decider game here. Poppy Paw is 2-0 in this elimination best of 5 in King of Dry Arabia. He takes the Japanese, while Louis takes the English. And the wild thing about this Japanese pick is this is the closest to the highly desirable picks we've seen from Poppy Paw. He, in this series so far, has ignored his strongest picks. He picked Byzantines, Delhi, and Rus before the Japanese pick. He's ignored them all. He's essentially just had Louis bleeding himself dry with potent picks. And, you know, English versus Japanese is an interesting one. I actually think Japan can win this one. And the way they can do it is with Mass Yumi. It does require a reasonable spawn. And admittedly, this isn't exactly that. However, Louis isn't exactly your standard 2024 English boy. This is a blast from the past. We've got Dark Age Men-at-Arms Rush coming out from Louis. I think you stop at 1 though, right? That's going to be a very important detail. Like, I think if you go 2 here, it's a bit too much. But 1 to try and slow down the gold gathering makes a lot of sense, considering at this early phase in the game, Poppy Paw is not going to have an outpost up. It's pretty crafty, actually. And you know what I love is, this is such a rare strategy nowadays. It's very unexpected. So you're likely not scouting for it. You're not anticipating it. Think about it this way. You know when you play against a Mongol player, you scout towards their base, right? Because you want to see if you're going to get outpost rushed. You don't really do that with English. You assume they're just going to chill and try to go up an age. You're scared of cookies? Cookies are delicious. Guys, you know if you're scared of cookies, you can just reject cookies when you enter a website, by the way. Oh, man. Annoying damage being done here for Poppy Paw. He's going to have to hang around for that gather. I feel like he's going to have to pull new villages, actually. Yeah, and he realizes that Poppy Paw doesn't have enough there. Still needs 10, so he's going to have to shift 2 more over. That should be good enough, but this has been some other time. The question mark has to be, has this been worth it? Has this been enough? You know what? I think this is smart by Louis as well, because something that is easy to forget is we just had a patch, right? A patch that actually changed the gold spawns, because sometimes the gold was spawning too close. Now it's further out by a little bit. It's guaranteed to be the correct distance. That means this Men-at-Arms play is more powerful. And oh my god, dude. Poppy Paw just about gets what he needs. Wait, no, oh my god, he hasn't. Guys, this is deceptive. This is BS right now. So what happened here is Poppy Paw needed 1 more gold, because although it says 200 on the UI, he probably has 199.5, which means he can't get a tech up. There you go. He has to pull it back in the end. Kura Storehouse now out of the way, but that's been quite the delay. And I think we can all agree, worthwhile for Louis MT. A phenomenal start, and one that he needs in this series with how rough things are going. Remember, he's up against the ropes here. A loss will equal an out. Lower bracket, no more forgiving here in King of Dry Arabia. And important tournament as well, remember, $1,500 on the line. So Council now coming in for Louis. Wow, this is very aggressive then. I was expecting Abbey of Kings, and you just kind of try to spam archers on a delay, maybe play 2 TC still. Basically drag Poppy Paw into the Feudal, but I think the thought process here from Louis is, I'm going to drag his ass into the Feudal anyway. Which kind of makes sense, right? Like, you're playing against a Civ that isn't renowned for its Feudal power. In theory, Japanese are really good in Feudal. When you think about their unit versatility and the power of their units, great. But then you remember their economy, and you wish you could forget it. Japan's economy kind of stinks. The reason why they can win games is because that fast castle build led into just such powerful units, right? They're a timing Civ. When they have to drag out the age, that's when things begin to look grim. I mean, we're being council though. And Poppy Paw is going to scout it soon, by the way. I do think you could just open Horsemen, transition Archers afterwards. You don't want to open Archers straight away here. If you open Archers, you just get stomped. Because I think, like, while Yumi seem really potent, especially when it's Council Hall, the production rate is just too good for English already. I think, given enough scale, Yumi will win. But the opening window is going to be painful. And in fact, it looks like Poppy Paw doesn't care for it. So he's going to invest in double outposts. When you do this, guys, you need double outpost against the English because the Lombos have too much reach. A lot of civs, you get away with one outpost, right? Because they have to get too close. But against English specifically, it requires two. I imagine we're going to be seeing the second one soon. This also now guarantees that it is going to be castle. The reason is that if this was playing feudal, you wouldn't waste stone on fortifications because you need it to get your daimyo for the bannerman, right? You can't play long feudal without bannerman. Meanwhile, Louis snooping in to see what his target's going to be here. He actually pulls the Lombos back. What? Well, he knows about the outpost. That's the funny thing here. And if Louis knows about the outpost, you've got to be wondering, why is he pulling away? Is he rushing castle? That doesn't work. I'm pretty confident in saying that doesn't work here. Japan's already too far ahead on the timing. And Puppy Paw with the soul read here. He knows what he's up to. How does this kid keep doing this? This is absolutely wild. I can only assume he thought he was going to be attacked and wanted to go Yumi, but I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Horseman to begin with. Then again, he saw a rack, so I guess he was worried about spears ahead of time. But the wildness of this, guys, is that this is greed from Louis. Louis is trying to just insulate himself and go castle. Mass Yumi blocks that. Mass Yumi can annihilate that. What a wild build. And he crept it, right? I think it has now been scouted, so Louis at least gets a snooper on in the end, and he's going to start investing in more units, which is the correct call. If he hadn't seen that archery range and he'd just double barrel towards castle, it would have been immediate GG. He wouldn't be able to do it quick enough, because the thing about Yumi that really gets slept on, they are a raider. They're a bloody good raider. 1.38 movement speed. And because they're so much cheaper, you get a lot of them. Louis now playing like, what? On the ball? Well, it's only 5, so I assume this is an outpost drop, and that's why he feels safe. Like, Mass Yumi against an outpost is whoop-de-doo-dah. Unless there's, like, 100 of them, in which case you're dead. But to be honest, if he's got 100 Yumi, this is like when someone has 20 Mangonels. You're like, why did you let them get 20 Mangonels? 100 Yumi realistically shouldn't be happening before that Bora is expired. In fact, I'm not sure 100 Yumi is even mathematically feasible before the Bora is taken. Right? Because to get 100 of these guys, that's 65 each. So you'd need 6,500 resources. I mean, you probably do have enough food at home for that, but I don't know if that's the best use of it. And here come the Raider boys. Only a small handful, mind you. This is unfortunate. If Louis had like 10 on gold, he could just counterattack them with the short bows. But against 3 Yumi, you have to back away. Louis, no wheelbarrow yet, means he's going to lose a villager. Right? Ooh, there was a bit of pathing there. Puppy Paw. We'll get him, though. And that's a jackpot trade. Even if you'd lost to Yumi, that would have been worthwhile. Lombos have now arrived, and Puppy Paw might end up getting punished for his own greed here. Able to garrison in time. He's got a second wave of Yumi now moving around the east side. In fact, if Puppy Paw times this right, he can sandwich this Lombo group. Right? Reinforce the Yumi here. Second group rotates around the back of the tree line. Looks like that's what Puppy Paw is trying to do. Louis senses it starts to move away. In the meantime, outpost is being built up. There is a Lombo here to help. And with the village's assistance, they will be able to shove this away. So outpost now up. Louis should be protected on this backside of his base now. But this is a pretty good value play for Puppy Paw, right? He lost 1 Yumi. He killed a villager. That was already worthwhile. Now he forces more idle time and 100 wood investment. This is fantastic for Puppy Paw. Because every time Louis has to do these type of details, it stops him scaling Lombos. It allows Puppy Paw the opportunity to try and outscale with his own ranged. I think this is where Puppy Paw is going to go castle, though. Makes a lot of sense. I really like this idea, because then you can upgrade to Veteran Yumi and just annihilate the English defenses, or you transition into Knights. And the cool thing is what he's doing right now with his Yumi. He's posturing aggressively, because these are so cheap, they're throwaway units. If they go in and kill 5 villagers while you're teching, it's worthwhile. Walls are at least going up from Louis, so that'll be an ultimate blocker. Daimyo is now coming in, so we will have that Yumi Bannerman. It's going to be very telling if he builds the Bannerman. Because if they build the Bannerman, then they're guaranteed commit. Oh my god, he's committing. And yet, this is what I've been warning people about. Council Hall seems very good, but the whole logic on why Council Hall can potentially beat Matsuyumi is you attack, 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 attack. Louis didn't. Some crept out, and they caused him problems, and they took a more defensive format. This is starting to feel like one of those classic situations where Louis' approach as a player, being more defensive, hurts him. And by being more defensive, I mean he wants that late game, right? And he's thinking, oh, English late game's great. I don't think his eyes are on the mid game. The mid game is now a huge problem. And Puppy Paw with a huge Matsuyumi. If there's one thing that's been consistent in this series, is this detail. Any pro player watching this is now just making a mental note: when I play against Puppy Paw, shoot the deer. It's a lot of safe food as well. He's shoving it all the way back. To Flung Gate on the way. I mean, he's got 3 archer ranges, right? Like, you could actually just add in a stables now and you'd be pretty fine. Logic being is you can still scale Matsuyumi out of 3 archer ranges, but have mounted samurai to assist. And I think that's what we might be getting. When I see a forge drop on the stone, this suggests we want to rush towards Daimyo level 2, so that you can have an Uma Bannerman and a Yumi Bannerman. Damn, I know my Japanese. Arigato, mother. Don't know where that came from. Yumi gonna go raiding. Louis trying to dive in here, but this is kind of dangerous. You don't know where the Yumi are. That's the problem. If you knew, if you saw them, but are you kidding me? The timing on this rotation. I don't think Louis saw that. And yes, the deer seem to be returning. They were never shot down. So all that effort was for nothing. Oops. What about Yumi in the meantime? No veterancy coming in. If he could just wiggle in on the east side. I mean, you wouldn't look, though. This is the thing. You would not expect an English player to be about on the ball. I would question the walls, but I don't think he's even seen those walls. Meantime, Louis now looking to rotate to the back. There's a lot of gold gathering going on here. He knows about it. But he has been scouted with a maneuver, so Puppy Paw, quick on the reaction, is going to shift away. He's biding time. More Mount Samurai being built up, but this is problematic. This blocker is big because he needs the gold to get the veterancy for the Yumi. Relics also starting to be hoovered. This is important. This is going to get him to what he needs. Yumi is coming in as well. So Bannerman's now there. And also, for people's clarity, I literally put in the titles when it's live. Live. Do you know how dumb it would look to put not live? Yumi. Now moving in, though. Mount Samurai can absorb a lot of the blows here. This is bad. This is really bad for Louis. He needs Spearman right now. The men-at-arms can't last long. Just look at how quickly they're going to get melted. Puppy Paw starts to shift back. Initial trade looked decent, though. I mean, realistically, he did at least get rid of the Yumi Bannerman. That's a big deal. But space was created, and that's exactly what Puppy Paw needs. He's trying to get to that veterancy. Outpost being rushed up. Puppy Paw. This is tough. I thought he was going to go immediately for the veterancy, but no. I think actually this may have been a bit of a blunder. He queued up another Yumi Bannerman instead of just getting Vet. He can now afford it, though. Vet and Daimyo Palace now on the way. This is so tilting if you're Louis, right? Like, in theory, your army, if you can just get a brute force fight, is now better. But you can't. This is the power of the Yumi comp with Cav. It outmaneuvers you. You can't keep pace with it. It's too quick. Samurai now going to charge out. Attack speed aura is there, but Louis hesitant to fight until the rest of the spearmen come in. And there we go. The clash begins. Yumi upgrade on the way. It's not come through yet, but I don't think it even matters. Even without them upgraded, the mounted samurai are doing enough damage here. This has shrunk the army, and the reason this is important is the reboot. This military count is deceptive. Yes, Louis is still holding his own for the moment. The problem is how quickly both sides can rebuild. Yumi builds substantially quicker and cheaper than standard archers. Not just that, with 4 mounted samurai left over, this is getting more and more grim. Yumi pretty much just throwing away their lives to get the spearman kills, and there's the veterancy. There's what he was waiting for. Puppy Paw is so confident in the initial exchanges. The mounted samurai are just going to charge in again, so that's going to be a wipe at the front line. And the problem here is look at Louis' economy. He's not ready for castle yet. He's got to get ready quick. Because things are swollen, a beast is coming. The attack force is going to be mopped up here. There's at least one villager with shenanigans coming through with the outpost, but outside that, there's no pressure onto Puppy Paw's economy. Military is now neck and neck. The quality difference is clear as day, and it's about to get a hell of a lot worse. Ranged Armor 2 is on its way. At that stage, your Yumi are basically equivalent to Lombos. Actually, they're already better, but when they're upgraded, they'll be equivalent. Damn. Wolves are at least up, so Louis in theory can get up, but it's going to have to be White Tower, and oh god, that feels horrible. Reminder guys, this is not your standard Rush 2 TC English build. This is 1 TC English, with no map control, already losing. The White Tower will buy you time, but because it's not King's Palace, it won't buy you an out on the economy. You're going to start to fall behind here. Daimyo level 2 is already in, which means these farms are 50% more efficient, which is great because your opponent doesn't even have his... Oh, sorry, he has got... No agriculture tech at all. And with Castle, his farms are going to be, what, 25%? Even if you had agriculture tech, it's 40%. Yours are 50%. So you're ahead. And the good news for Louis, at least, is Yumi are terrible at knocking at the door. Because Lombos can just outrange you, so they can snipe you while you're trying to slowly take down walls. But I think Puppy Paw can just chill now, right? Like, he could even consider 2TC here. Not the worst of ideas. 2TC scales really well with the Yorishiro drops. That did get buffed from 25% to 30% increased production rate. You know what? If 5% is not a big enough buff, if you want to see a buff of probably 50, 60, 70%, depending on how old your CPU is, probably more than that. If you're like me with 3700X and you need to get something new, I right now am eyeballing those new 9000 series CPUs. Give them a check out for me. Click on that link. It's damn good bang for buck, actually. I'm talking with one of the AMD lads about getting me fully powered up with a new AMD build. So, yeah. I'm pursuing that hard. It shows how much I rate them. Definitely click on that link. Ram's coming. They build fast as well. Like, this is the thing about the Yumi Flood, guys. I think I've explained this before as like a Zerg. It really is a Zerg, but when you add in the Mounted Samurai, it's like a Zerg. It's like a Zergling Flood into an Ultralisk. For anyone who knows like the StarCraft, they'll get what I'm talking about. It's like you've got quantity, but then you're adding quality really effectively. Yumi mass double the count to what Louis has. Louis has at least got the veterancy in, but I don't think that's going to count for much here. He's still got issues in the other techs, the blacksmith techs. He's completely behind by 2 on each unit. 1 in terms of armor, 1 in terms of damage. Yumi just trading out with those spearmen, trying to get rid of all of them so the dive can come in. The Mount Samurai are already now leaking into the economy. That's the awkward thing. You can't keep star-stepping with the spears when your economy is behind the fight. At least not when it's behind the fight on the side of your enemy. So last of the spears is going down. I think this is it. This is going to be it all. Puppy Paw wastes no time at all. What a cool way to get a 3-0. He throws out things like the French and the Mongols against some of the most dominant civs in competitive AoE 4 right now, and makes it all look so trivial against one of the game's best. Yumi, Yumi,